Good evening, folks. So I'm just going to do another breakdown from my trade today on GJ. Just kind of talk through why I got involved today. Now, it is Friday, it is the end of the week. I have had a good week. There was no real reason for me to trade in that sense, but at the same time, you could say, well, just use a bit of profit from this week and give this a shot. The idea came from the 4 hour time frame, and basically from yesterday I was selling in and around here, and we know that this is a strong 4 hour support and resistance zone across the board. And when we actually, if you think about this being a strong close and then this is a strong close, you would expect further downside. But with this being such a strong level, as we know, we got an instant reaction and rejection, and we closed with a strong candle. And during Asian, we printed 2 bearish candles. Now, for the best for the session would be bearish. However, looking at those 2 candles, they don't really scream bullish to you, or bearish, sorry, they don't really scream sells. But one thing that I was paying great attention to was the reaction that we got at this previous 4 hour resistance. When that resistance formed, we can see that in here we had rejection. That's a wrong. So we had rejection in here. We also had rejection here. And we have also rejected, fuck's sake, I can't even speak, rejected on the 2 a.m. close, leading into today's London open and London session. So when this had closed and rejected, for me, sales make more sense below this area, because if we're able to close below the resistance, we can then look for a pullback within the next candle and look to short, targeting the new target or looking for continuation down to sort of the bottom of the range again. So the fact that that candle didn't close below made me very wary of selling, regardless of the session best. What makes more sense? Well, a strong close below makes more sense of further downside, because we can respect that area as resistance and then continue. And the fact that we closed above made me think that, is this potentially an area of consolidation for us to continue this move, in a sense that we form a support, resistance, support, continue. Now it is Friday, it is the end of the week. We do typically get some moves on Friday. However, I'm not expecting price to, end up way up here. Now I did do a sort of breakdown last night in terms of higher time frame, and I was sort of forecasting this being our range. If we close outside, we can get a pullback in, and then we can look to target that and look to continue on the overall higher time frame play. Now, it's very unlikely that that's going to happen today, and it hasn't happened today, but sort of an idea to maybe take into next week. So if I just drop down to the 1 hour, this is the first hour, or sorry, this is the last hour of the 4 hour candle, leading into the new 4 hour at 6 a.m. So when this candle formed, it formed a support, buying on 4 hour resistance. Now you might be thinking, well, there's a resistance here, we've formed a support, we've pushed up lower resistance, we've then formed a new low. So buying here is quite risky because of where we're buying into. We're buying into a previous support zone. Now, I actually got involved. If I just bring on my long position, this is where I got involved. And if I drop the 30-minute time frame, I actually got involved. If I just skip through this candle, I actually got involved in this candle. Okay. So what my sort of thought process was, the reason I took a buy was solely based off of the 4 hour rejection of the 4 hour resistance and the failure to close below, which is this area. We've got a 1 hour support. Now this 1 hour candle, you might be thinking, well, surely it's just one candle. It's not enough. One candle doesn't mean nothing. The sort of second candle confirms the support, but this is the candle that forms it. So we are trading within the previous candle. So there is a chance that we could easily just push up to this support and reject it, because again, our session best is bearish and so on. But what made me interested in this buy was based on how this 1 hour was formed. So what's happened on the lower time frames is we've actually changed structure to the upside, which is in line with the direction that I want price to go. So on the 30 minute, it's quite evident here. We can see we formed a resistance, we've pushed down, formed a lower time frame support, pushed up, and then we formed another higher support. So dropping down to the 15 and the 5 minute, we can clearly see what price is doing, and it's sort of starting to create that. So if we mark up here the hourly support, which is, or the 30-minute support, sorry, which is in here, let me just mark that up. As you can see, I'm sort of buying as we're breaking above that, and we're already respecting the low of the previous candles. Now this candle was the 6:30 to 7, so I always let the sort of the first half an hour of the new 4 hour play out to kind of see, and just I don't like to buy instantly on that. But we then pushed on into profit, and if I just go back to the 1 hour, kind of skip through an extra candle, that's how that 1 hour closed. And this here target was based on this being Asian high, our most recent resistance on the 30-minute time frame, and that's all I want to target, because looking at this from a 4 hour perspective, this is resistance. We've got resistance here, and we've got all these rejections across the board. Okay, so it's Friday, I've had a good week. It's sort of like a little bonus trade in a sense. So I was happy to just grab what I could get there and just get out at that most recent resistance. So that was my target, roughly for just under 1%, roughly about 0.85, 0.86%. And that was all. So that's my sort of trade breakdown. And if I just zoom out here, and we'll just kind of see what price has done so far right up to now, which is 5 past 5. You can see we have sort of just range. Now we're gradually pushing higher, but we are finding it quite, we are struggling at this sort of 4 hour resistance zone in a sense. We did close above, but again, we just instantly straight rejected. What I would like to see next week is if we can get a strong close above into this clean area, looking left, and then we can look to hold support above this area, and we can then look to buy. That's what I would like to see going in the next week, just solely based off of this time frame. But yeah, that was my breakdown. So quick one today on GJ, and a good end of the week.